Yeah.
In fixed fee, we need proactivity.
Yeah.
We need you to want to move things forward. So it's like almost a microcosm of if you yourself aren't eager to learn to move forward, how can I trust that you'll do that with your files?
Right.
So I need people who are going to prove themselves and show that they're capable, hardworking, and proactive. Like we can't use the word proactive enough when it comes to fixed fee.
Well, hello and welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share how we have built our family law firm from 0 to 25 attorneys and 15 million plus in revenue, all in the past 10 years. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working with hopes that you can take that and you can recontextualize it and shorten your success curve. And my guest today is Holly Mullin. She is one of our managing partners, and she was actually the third attorney to join our firm way back almost 9 years ago, Holly? And she has seen us grow from nothing to where we are today. And her fingerprints are over the entire firm and every aspect of our firm. She occupies one of the most critical roles on our team in that she leads the legal teams. Her and Katie co-lead our legal teams, which are all of our attorneys, paralegals, and legal assistants. And so she has, in conjunction with the team, has designed our attorney levels, roles, responsibilities. And so I've asked her to come on today and talk about that. How does it work? What are they? And how does an attorney progress? And all of that. So Holly, welcome. And can you tell us a little bit about how this process came to be? Maybe start to describe like what it is.
Thank you, Jeff. Happy to be here. This has developed over time. So we didn't have this all figured out from day one. When we were hired, brought in 9.5 years ago, it was everybody coming in at attorney level. We didn't have really designated titles. It was like, do you want to work for Sterling as an attorney? Yes.
That's your role.
Now we have, as we've grown, added a lot of new attorneys because at that point when I was hired, I had been practicing for 7 years, I believe, roughly. And now we'll hire attorneys straight out of law school, right? Well, there's a huge differential between an attorney who has never practiced versus you have 7 years under your belt. So there's become a need of delineating what level or skill set you have when you are here, and then also showing attorneys on the team what is your path forward for growth and opportunity to advance. So I think that's why a need for clarity on experience level to differentiate, and then also for the attorneys to be able to see how they can progress in their careers. So for those reasons, we developed kind of different tiers of attorney levels. Yeah. So we have the associate level, senior associate, partner, senior partner, and managing partner. Not everybody starts at the associate level. Most now would, so years ago, we only had associates and partners. We added the managing partner level. Then we differentiated and added even the difference between an associate and a senior associate. So it's this has grown over time as we have found the need for that and really the desire for that. We have these different levels so that internally we understand where somebody is at in their practice so that we can help them grow to the next level. We always want to see people moving up the ladder and progressing and growing. So if we know somebody's coming in at an associate level, for us, that means you're new to the practice. So not only do you not have legal acumen of how to effectively practice family law, what family law is, all of the intricacies of it, but you also don't have the understanding of practicing it in a fixed fee model and what Sterling offers, how you explain that and how you excel within that fixed fee model to do the very best you can for your client. Right. So it's we understand as an associate, you have neither of those skills, not the legal acumen and not the fixed fee acumen.
Right.
And we would like to see our associates with the assistance of senior partners and managing partners to see that those associates are getting a lot of attention. We are spending, truly we are investing in them. And I think that's kind of a known thing among firms is a first year associate. It's they're not necessarily going to be adding a ton of value to the firm. You are adding a ton of value to them because you believe that eventually when you invest that time and energy into them, it'll come back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
And so we've learned that to be true. And that was true of me as a first year associate, no doubt. So we try to give them a lot of opportunities for shadowing. So it's, think of it as if I were talking to an associate, it would be like, I do, you watch.
Yeah.
And bringing them in, to consultations so they can see, this is how I'm describing the fixed fee to somebody who doesn't know a thing about fixed fee to a potential client. This is how I'm answering questions to a potential client. So a consultation is actually an awesome way for young associates to learn, because they're seeing you answer legal questions and describe fixed fee in real time. So they're getting those questions that are in their own mind also answered when they're really just watching you answer it to a potential client. I have them sit in on settlement conferences where I'm actually engaged in practicing in real time with a live client, a live opposing counsel, and a live opposing party. Mm-hmm. I'll have them sit in on client meetings. So this is after the client has hired us and I'm trying to explain to them what I think they should or shouldn't do on a case, giving them advice and steps forward. And then, of course, court hearings, bringing them in to as many court hearings as possible so they can see us practicing live and in real time, and even introducing them to the judges and commissioners because they haven't had the chance to meet those people, those very important people who they'll eventually be practicing in front of.
Right.
So that first year, as being an associate, it's about giving them the opportunity to absorb and learn, with the goal being that we want to see them progressing, probably around the year mark to maybe 2-year mark into that senior associate role. And that the way that we like to decide if somebody is ready is really based on the legal acumen, is have they, and we go through kind of a checklist of have they done a consultation? Have they at least shadowed X number of consultations? Have they shadowed stipulated divorce hearings, temporary orders? It's like a lot of things where we say before we promote somebody to a senior associate, we want to make sure that they have a baseline of understanding of family law. Have they proven that to us over their 1 year, 18 months, 24 months that they've been here? Have they shown us they can do that? We're ensuring that they know what's expected of them along the way. I meet with a new associate, we have weekly meetings, one-on-ones, where it's we're talking about what is it that they have done so far? What are the things I'm looking for them to still accomplish? And how can I find opportunities to make that possible for them? So it's a constant check-in, making sure that I'm not just leaving them on an island and saying, go make sure you learn family law. But what's on your calendar? Oh, here, I see Ellen has a litigation hearing. I want you to see that. Or Austin's taking a deposition. Get that on your calendar. I have an interesting consultation this afternoon. I want you to shadow that. It's giving them structure. And I maybe would do that for the first, 3 to 6 months. Yeah. After that point, I'm going to say, okay, here's the things I need you to still be working on. Go find opportunities for it. Yeah. Show me that you can be proactive. Go ask your team members, send an email out to the team asking who's got a deposition coming up or who has a contested trial coming up that you can shadow or co-chair. So I'm going to handhold, and then I'm going to sort of now you take some proactive steps to help yourself learn more and continue to progress.
I've been really surprised with the speed that you've taken these brand new associates right out of law school and brought to the point where they're file ready. And it's happened with Bailey, it happened very, very fast. And with others, quite fast as well. So one of the things I've noticed that you do really well is after you're done with that hand-holding phase where you're telling them what to do and you're saying, okay, now I need you to be proactive. I've seen it happen a few times over the years where someone has been proactive and you don't tolerate that. They're out the door at that point. If they're not going to have any gumption to try to learn on their own, then you're not going to continue to drag them along.
Yeah, it is a bummer when we see that happen. It does happen from time to time, but it's that's an indicator of how they'll be practicing, in my opinion, and it just cannot work with fixed fee. Yeah. In fixed fee, we need proactivity. Yeah. We need you to want to move things forward. So it's almost a microcosm of if you yourself aren't eager to learn to move forward, how can I trust that you'll do that with your files? Right. So I need people who are going to prove themselves and show that they're capable, hardworking, and proactive. Like, we can't use the word proactive enough when it comes to fixed fee.
You talk about the proactive piece of it. I mean, actually, back up a little bit. So early on, when you started describing this for the associate level, you talked about you're really trying to evaluate and train on two kind of broad categories. One being the legal acumen, understanding the law, the practice of family law, and all the nuances that go along with that. At the same time, you're trying to teach them how to run a practice as a business, and in particular, how we do it at Sterling, which is a separate animal with the proactivity needed versus like a more of a reactive hourly practice where you can afford to do it that way. So you're evaluating our associates on both of their activities and abilities in these two areas. And then when you feel like they're at a point where they're ready to advance to that next level of senior associate, you mentioned what you're looking for with respect to their file readiness, going to hearings and all that sort of stuff. What do you look for with respect to like their business of the practice of law readiness? Or do you not evaluate it as much at that point?
I am evaluating it, but it's not necessarily going to be the deal breaker of whether I can progress them to senior associate or not.
Okay.
But there's certainly things I would expect. I want to see that they know how to conduct a consultation in the way that we think is effective. Not because we're like, do it my way, it's the best way. We put a lot of thought into our consultation process. It is listening more than talking is really important. It's making sure that you're gathering the appropriate information so that you can give meaningful feedback to this individual who's counting on you to do that, but also gathering the right information so that you can assess what's the appropriate quote in a fixed fee model, and making sure that that person has the opportunity to feel heard, that you have the opportunity to show them how smart you are.
Yeah.
You know, you're missing the point then. So I want to see that they know how to conduct a consultation. Because again, a consultation is a microcosm of how are you going to be with that person when they are your client? Are you going to be a good listener? Are you asking the right questions? Are you giving them good guidance? So I want to see them handle consultations really well. I also want to see their work product so that I can see, are they pushing the ball forward? Are they taking the next step in their work product? Like, are they going to advance a case, to use that word again, to be proactive in their practice? Are they showing me they know how to do that? The way that we do it here is our attorneys, we do a workflow meeting is what we call it, which is a weekly meeting between the attorney and their paralegal. And a new associate would shadow me. For as long as they're an associate, they're going to shadow me to my workflow meetings. And I would expect them to be there weekly with me, just like my paralegal is, so they can see how I manage my cases. Because that workflow meeting is an opportunity for me and my paralegal to connect, talk about every single case that I have, every open file I have, we are going to touch. We're going to talk about it. We may not spend 10 minutes talking about it, but I'm going to say, okay, here's the next court hearing. Let's make sure that's on my calendar. I haven't talked to this client in a week. They're being pretty quiet. Can you touch base and get them on my calendar for a quick phone call? Or, hey, we really need to push this case forward. I'm not getting any responses. Let's serve discovery. It's just all of these examples are showing we touch a case, we ensure it's moving forward. That new associate is hearing it. That new associate is seeing, oh, so that case sounds like it's stuck. That's what Holly just did in order to get it unstuck or to get some traction and moving it along. And for me, that's super important in the fixed fee practice because they're going to hear me manage a file. I want them sitting in with me on client meetings because a lot of the times clients will have questions about, am I going to owe more money? And it's us being really honest with the client. How do you have those conversations? That's awkward. It is awkward to talk about your worth to a client. People in an hourly practice don't always have to do that. It's sort of like, well, if it's taking me time, it's costing you money.
Right.
Where here it's like, you know what I've been doing because I've been communicating with you. You've seen me push your case forward. You've seen me work alongside you and on your behalf this entire time. I can't force you to take this settlement and I can't force them to take our offer. If we don't have an agreement, the case is going to continue and there will be additional fees, but know that I'll continue to advocate for you just as I have been doing. I mean, these are tough things to say on your own behalf because I think as family law attorneys, there's a lot of compassion that we have for people in need. And we would all want to give the shirt off of our back. So that's really hard. It's hard when you are in the business of family law and we are all employees of this firm and we have to know our worth and collect on that value. So it's important that they hear that conversation to the extent that I can have them shadow that. I always do. So senior associate level is, how is your legal skills? have you done some of the things or all of the things really on that checklist of important experiences that you've shown me you have the skill set to advance to a senior associate? And are you understanding kind of these baseline fixed fee understandings? To get to a partner level, you're showing me master level of those issues.
Yeah.
Master level of skill set, you are a very experienced family law attorney. If you're carrying a partner level at Sterling Law Offices, you are somebody who has exceptional experience. You are renowned in your practice by your colleagues here at Sterling and also in the community of family law attorneys and judges. You're known. I'd like to see you participating on boards or sections, of local committees and state bar, county bar associations. Like, get involved. Be a part of the community beyond just the firm, and that you're excellent in the fixed fee practice.
Yeah.
You have solid NPS, which is client review scores. You are giving very good attention and communication to your clients. You are getting signed clients when they come in for consultations, right? It's like you're showing me kind of across the board that you have this figured out and you need very little support. Even though I'm here to give it to you should you need it, it's not as though it looks nothing like an associate who's there to shadow and absorb. It's like, you've got this and you're managing yourself to some degree.
Yeah.
Whereas like a senior partner, that next level up is they're now a leadership position. I'm counting on them to help me train associates and even senior associates. Like, if we need to do a second chair, say a senior associate has a trial, we're not going to send them in on their own. It's like, we have depth in this firm. Let's show that. And I want you to help me give this support to a senior associate. Let's co-chair the trial. Show that client that they've got two attorneys sitting by their side.
That never happens anywhere else. I mean,
I don't think so.
Never seen that. That's so
And it's a great feeling for the attorney to know. It's like, I just had a trial, right? And Austin sat next to me and it was like, I did all the arguments, I did all the exhibits, but he was there keeping all my paperwork. I mean, I think I had 34 exhibits. And so he's sitting there flipping them to me and like showing me and then checking my list of like, okay, I got all my exhibits marked. It's like keeping all that paperwork organized on a tiny little table while you're trying to conduct a trial is crazy.
Yeah.
So just having your colleague there as a support mechanism is amazing.
Yeah. That's a lot of firepower that client had with you sitting there and Austin, who's also a partner, sitting there as well. That's pretty special.
It went pretty well for us, though.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it was, I'm sure it felt very reassuring for that client to have two attorneys on their side. And yeah, so that senior partner level is really, it's beyond just you're excellent in your practice. It's like you are really adding value to your up and coming colleagues.
Well, that's a great summary of everything there. Now, you didn't speak to the managing partner component of it. So we've got 27 or so attorneys right now, I believe, in our firm. And we also have clerks. You didn't talk about clerks as well. So I'll kind of take those in the order I put them up. So the managing partner today, we have you and Katie, and I can just kind of answer the question around this. So we obviously seen the both of you come into our firm as attorneys, no other title. And in every step of the way, you've led even without the title, and you've shown that you just want nothing more than to add value to your team. And so you were the natural. There weren't any other discussion. You two were our managing partners just because of how much you poured into others. The second thing on the clerks part. So now this year, I think even in the last year, you've started hiring clerks throughout the firm. Can you talk to that a little bit? What's the intention there? Because that's new for us. We haven't done that other than once or twice over our 10 years.
This has been an awesome way that we are now finding great new talent, and wish we had thought of it 10 years ago, but here we are. And it's been a super exciting addition to how we are building our team. So we are finding second or third year law students at our local law school. So here in the Milwaukee area, we have Madison not too far away, and then we have Marquette right here in Milwaukee. So a lot of talent and smart, eager students who want to get into the practice of law. And we find those who are specifically interested in family law and give them a paid opportunity to come and work alongside our attorneys and paralegals, typically full-time over the summer and then part-time over the school year to accommodate their class schedules, so that not only are they getting this great experience of seeing what it's like to practice law in the area, so they get to shadow. I mean, they can't obviously consult or advise clients, but they can assist with drafting, they can assist with filing, they can assist with paralegal duties, sitting in on client meetings, coming to court with us. So they're getting a great opportunity to learn and absorb. And then we get this awesome opportunity of almost like an extended opportunity to learn about them and interview them, and decide if they would be a good fit for our team. It's really tricky to do an interview. It's maybe like 3 interviews, somewhere between like a half an hour to an hour each. And you're making a decision if this person is going to be the right fit for the team, not just like on an intelligence or are you experienced, but like culture, can you fit in? Like, are you
family?
Like vibe with what we've built here? And we all know that you recognize when it doesn't work, and it's a real bummer. So it's great when you can have a law clerk for several months work alongside your team and you see like, is this a hard worker? Are they smart? Are they cut out for family law? Not everyone has the stomach for it. And do they work alongside of us well, such that we think they'd be a good addition to our team? And then on top of that is they can kind of hit the ground running as an associate after they graduate law school, because they've seen our processes, they know our people, they've worked, like, for example, Salesforce is what we use for kind of all of our file management, calendars, document retention. They've worked in Salesforce. So that's that's a major training. For me, it was like learning a foreign language.
Yeah.
They worked on a Mac. That was another thing, Jeff.
Double whammy.
You know how I did with that 9 years ago.
Now you can't live without it, can you? You got to have a Mac. You're totally converted.
I am now. I am totally converted. So it's like a lot of these things that we spend months really training new attorneys on. It's like they have already got that, and that's exciting that we have. I mean, this year our clerks were great. I mean, sharp and hardworking, and we're super excited about what the future holds with that, new process in our
We have 4
firm.
or 5 this year, firm-wide, 4 or 5 clerks this year.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a great group. The ones I met were just incredible. So very good. Well, thank you, Holly. This has been wonderful. You've been gracious with your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and what you're doing, and just appreciate your leadership.
Thank you, Jeff.